Part 1. The human ship looked small, very small. Commander Taewon Kim stood on the bridge and watched the other ships around them. The alien vessels were huge. Some were as long as 20 football fields. The human ship, the UNSS Indomitable, was smaller than most alien cargo ships. Taewon was a tall man by human standards, but he knew that meant nothing here. The aliens would tower over him. Most aliens in the Galactic Council were at least 8 feet tall. Some were even bigger. Captain Hana Choi walked up beside him. She was watching the alien ships too. Her face showed no emotion, but Taewon knew her well. She was studying everything, just like he was. "They want us to feel small," she said quietly. "Then we will not give them that satisfaction," Taewon replied. The Galactic Council had finally invited humanity to join them. It took 50 years of asking, 50 years of proving that humans were intelligent, that they had technology, that they deserved a place among the stars. Now, finally, the invitation had come, but Taewon knew the truth. The Council did not invite them out of respect. They invited humans because they had to. Human ships were spreading across space. Human colonies were growing. The Council could not ignore humanity anymore. The Indomitable docked at the Council station. The station orbited a neutron star called Vexa 9. It was a massive structure made of crystal and metal. Lights glowed from 1,000 windows. The station was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Taewon led his team through the airlock. With him came Captain Hana Choi, Dr. Minho Park, Lieutenant Ji-woo Han, and Ambassador Yuna Lee. They were the best humanity had to offer. They wore clean uniforms. They walked with pride. The council chamber was enormous. The ceiling stretched so high that Taewon could barely see it. Seats lined the circular walls, rising up in levels. Each seat held an alien representative. There were creatures made of crystal, beings covered in scales, insect-like warriors, and floating energy forms. All of them stared at the humans. Many of them were laughing. High Chancellor Vexthal sat at the center of the chamber. He was a Prismari, a being made of living crystal. Light bent and reflected through his body. He was 12 feet tall even while sitting down. His voice boomed through the chamber. "So these are the humans," Vexthal said. His tone made it clear he was not impressed. "I expected you to be taller." Laughter echoed through the chamber. Taewon did not react. He simply stood and waited for the laughter to die down. General Krethik stood up. He was a Vorn, an insect-like creature with 4 arms and armored plates covering his body. He was massive and powerful. His voice clicked and buzzed. "These creatures are too small," Krethik said. "Too weak. Look at them. Their bones are thin. Their muscles are soft. How can they fight? How can they defend anything?" More laughter. Taewon kept his face calm. Beside him, Hana stood perfectly still. Ji-woo looked bored. Minho was studying the aliens with scientific interest. Only Yuna showed any emotion. She smiled slightly, which made some aliens uncomfortable. "High Chancellor," Taewon said. His voice was steady and clear. "We are grateful for this invitation. Humanity is ready to serve the Council." Vexthal leaned forward. "Serve? Yes, perhaps you can serve. But can you fight? Can you defend Council territory?" "We can," Taewon replied. The High Chancellor made a sound like breaking glass. It was Prismari laughter. "Then we will test you. You will receive a military assignment. You will defend a sector of Council space. Alone. With only your own forces." "We accept," Taewon said without hesitation. Vexthal displayed a star map. A region of space appeared, highlighted in red. Border Quadrant Theta 7. A worthless sector with 3 minor planets and some old trade routes. Nothing important ever happens there. You will defend it with your tiny army. The insult was clear. They were giving humanity the least important assignment possible. They expected humans to fail or to give up or to beg for help. Taewon bowed slightly. "We will defend Theta 7, General Krathix laughed again. "They accept." "These foolish creatures actually accept. How long do you think they will last?" "I give them 1 month before they cry for help." Other aliens made bets. Some said 2 weeks. Some said 3 days. One alien bet that humans would turn around and go home immediately. Only one voice spoke differently. Counselor Thena, an aquatic being from Osiara Prime, raised a webbed hand. "Perhaps we should not underestimate them." The other aliens ignored her. The human delegation left the chamber with dignity. They walked through corridors filled with staring aliens. Some pointed. Some laughed. Some looked at them like they were strange animals in a zoo. When they reached their ship, Jiwoo finally spoke. They think we are weak. Good, Hana said. Let them think that. Minho was looking at data on his tablet. I analyzed their biology during the meeting. Most of them are stronger than us. Faster in short bursts, better natural weapons, but, Yuna asked. Minho smiled. But none of them evolved as persistence hunters. None of them can run for hours without stopping. None of them can function on little sleep for days. None of them can endure like humans can. Taewon sat in his command chair. Send word to Earth. Tell them we have our assignment. Tell them to send the defense fleet to Theta 7. We have work to do. The Indomitable left the station. The alien observers watched it go. They saw a small ship with a small crew heading to a worthless sector. They expected failure. What they did not see was the determination in human eyes. What they did not understand was that humans had climbed to the top of Earth's food chain, not through strength or speed, but through sheer refusal to give up. Humans were persistence predators. They chased their prey for hours, for days, until the prey collapsed from exhaustion. They survived ice ages, plagues, and countless disasters. They never stopped. They never gave up. Now they were taking that same persistence into space. Hana stood beside Taewon as they jumped to hyperspace. They mocked us. They did, Taewon agreed. They will regret it, she said. Taewon smiled. It was a small smile, but it held confidence. They will learn. The entire galaxy will learn what it means to face humans who refuse to quit. The ship disappeared into hyperspace, heading toward Theta 7. Behind them, the aliens laughed and made jokes. Ahead of them, destiny waited. The humans were coming, and the galaxy had no idea what that really meant. Part 2 Border Quadrant. Theta 7 was exactly as the Council described. Empty, quiet, forgotten. 3 small planets orbited distant stars. Old trade routes crossed through the sector, but few ships used them anymore. There were no important resources here, no strategic locations, nothing worth fighting for. It was perfect. The human fleet arrived in waves. 50,000 soldiers, 120 combat vessels, 1 orbital station. It was not a large force by Council standards. Some alien races had millions of soldiers, but for humans it was enough. Commander Taewon stood on the bridge of the orbital station. Below him, his forces were setting up defensive positions. Ships moved in patterns. Soldiers worked on installations. Engineers built sensor arrays. Everything moved like a machine, smooth, efficient, fast. The Council had sent observers. 3 alien officers from neighboring sectors came to watch the humans work. They expected to see confusion. They expected mistakes. They expected to laugh. Instead, they watched in silence. One observer was a tall reptilian named Sarth. He watched human soldiers work for 6 hours straight without rest. How long will they continue? He asked. Captain Hana Choi answered. They work in 8-hour shifts. 3 shifts per day. We can maintain operations continuously. Sarth's eyes widened. 8 hours? My soldiers can only work 4 hours before they need rest. How do yours manage 8? Hana smiled. We are built for endurance. The second observer was a floating energy being named Lumex. It watched Lieutenant Jiwoo Han run fighter drills. The human pilots flew in formations that seemed impossible. They moved too fast, turned too sharp, reacted too quickly. How do they control their ships so precisely? Lumex asked. Our sensors show their reaction times are faster than most species in the Council. Jiwoo landed his fighter and walked over. We train from childhood. Hand-eye coordination, reflexes, spatial awareness. It is part of being human. The third observer was Krex, a small insect-like being. He watched Dr. Minho Park set up medical and quarantine systems. The doctor worked with impressive speed installing equipment that exceeded Council standards. These systems, Krex said, they are more advanced than ours. How did you develop such technology? Minho looked up from his work. We had to. Earth is a dangerous world. Many diseases. Many parasites. We learned to protect ourselves or we died. Our immune systems are very strong. Our medical knowledge is very deep. The observers sent reports back to the Council. The reports were confusing. The humans were working too efficiently. They were too organized. They never seemed to tire. High Chancellor Vexthal read the reports with annoyance. The humans are trying too hard. They will burn out soon. This enthusiasm will not last, General Krathix agreed. They are new to this. Let them have their moment. When real danger comes, they will learn their place. But Counselor Thena read the reports differently. She saw patterns. The humans were not just following orders. They were adapting, improving, learning. Every day their systems got better. Every day their efficiency increased. She sent a private message to Taiwan. Commander, I see what you are doing. You are not just defending Theta 7, you are turning it into a fortress. Taiwan replied simply. We do not do anything halfway, Counselor. 2 weeks passed. The human base was complete. Sensor arrays covered the entire sector. Weapon platforms orbited key positions. Supply depots were stocked and ready. Escape routes were planned. Backup systems were in place. The observers were amazed. It usually took Council forces 2 months to set up a proper defense. The humans did it in 2 weeks, but the humans were not finished. They kept working. They kept improving. They dug deeper, built stronger, prepared more. Sarth asked Hana, why do you keep working? Your defenses are already adequate. Why not rest? Hana looked at him with steady eyes. Adequate is not good enough. We prepare for the worst. We hope for the best. But we always prepare for the worst. One night an emergency happened. A minor asteroid collision damaged a sensor relay. It needed to be fixed immediately. The repair would take 36 hours of continuous work. The observers expected the humans to complain, to ask for help, to request additional personnel. Instead, the human repair teams simply went to work. They worked through the night, through the next day, through the following night, 36 hours straight. When they finished, they reported the repair complete and went to sleep. The observers were speechless. Lumex asked Taiwan, how can your people work for so long without rest? It should not be possible, Taiwan answered calmly. Humans evolved on a difficult world. We learn to push through pain, through exhaustion, through suffering. When something needs to be done, we do it. Sleep can wait. Rest can wait. The mission comes first. Ambassador Yuna Lee was working on intelligence gathering. She made friends with traders who passed through the sector. She listened to rumors. She collected information. One trader, an old alien named Gorvik, warned her. Something is moving in the void expanse. Strange readings. Ships disappearing. You should be careful. Yuna thanked him and brought the information to Taiwan. He studied the data carefully. The void expanse, he said. That is close to our sector. Minho pulled up historical records. The void expanse is known for pirates. Sometimes worse things. The Council usually avoids it. Taiwan made a decision. Double our sensor coverage toward the void. Add more patrol routes. If something is coming, I want to know about it before it arrives. The observers watched the humans increase their readiness. Sarth sent a report. The humans are paranoid. They prepare for threats that do not exist. They waste energy on unnecessary precautions. General Krathix laughed when he read it. Humans are afraid. They know they are weak. They compensate with excessive preparation. How amusing. But Counselor Thena did not laugh. She looked at the reports and felt uneasy. The humans were preparing for something. They sensed danger that others did not see. She sent another message to Taiwan. Commander, what do you see that we do not? Taiwan replied, we see the same things you see, Counselor. But we learned long ago that the universe is dangerous. Hope for peace. Prepare for war. Always. 3 weeks after arrival, Theta 7 was no longer a forgotten sector. It was a fortress. Human sensors watched everything. Human ships patrolled constantly. Human soldiers stood ready. And deep in the void expanse, something was stirring. Something ancient. Something hungry. Something that had destroyed civilizations before. It was coming toward Theta 7. And the humans would be the first to see it. Part 3, the alarm started at 0300 hours. Every sensor in Theta 7 screamed warnings at the same time. Something massive was coming through the void expanse. Commander Taiwan was on the bridge in 30 seconds. He had not been sleeping. He never slept much during deployments. Captain Hana Choi was already there, studying the sensor data. How many? Taiwan asked. Thousands, Hana replied. Her voice was steady, but her eyes were wide. Maybe more. The sensors cannot count them all. The view screen showed the horror. A massive fleet emerged from a spatial rift. The ships were wrong. They looked like they were alive and dead at the same time. Metal and flesh merged together. Machines that breathed. Organisms that computed. Dr. Minho Park ran analysis. Ravagers, he said quietly. I read about them in council archives. They have destroyed entire civilizations. They assimilate everything. Technology, biology. They grow stronger with every conquest. Lieutenant Jiwoo Han counted the enemy ships. We are outnumbered 50-1. Taewon sent an emergency message to the council. Within minutes, High Chancellor Vexthal responded. His crystal face appeared on the screen. Evacuate immediately, Vexthal ordered. This is not a request. Abandon Theta 7. The Ravagers will destroy everything in their path. We are sending reinforcements, but they will not arrive for 6 days. You cannot hold against that force. Taewon looked at his officers. Hana nodded once. Minho gave a small smile. Jiwoo cracked his knuckles. Ambassador Yunali, standing in the corner, simply said, We stay. Taewon turned back to the screen. Negative, High Chancellor. We will hold this position. Vexthal's light flickered in shock. You will die. All of you. This is foolish pride. You gave us this sector to defend, Taewon said calmly. We will defend it. 6 days should be enough. The transmission ended. Across the galaxy, council observers watched and waited for the humans to change their minds. General Krathix broadcast on open channels. The humans are fools. They choose death over wisdom. Remember this moment when you find their bodies. The Ravagers came like a dark tide. Their ships moved in perfect coordination, controlled by a central intelligence called the Hive Mother. They had faced countless species before. They expected another easy victory. They were wrong. The first Ravager wave hit the human defensive line. Immediately, human ships opened fire. The weapons were precise. Every shot counted. Every missile found its target. In the first 10 minutes, 300 Ravager vessels were destroyed. The Ravagers paused. This was not normal. Most species panicked when they saw the Ravager fleet. Most species broke and ran. These small creatures were fighting back effectively. The Hive Mother sent a psychic scream across space. It was a weapon. The scream caused fear and paralysis in most living beings. It had broken armies before. The human forces barely reacted. A few soldiers felt uncomfortable. Some heard ringing in their ears. But they kept fighting, Minho explained to the shocked observers. Human brains are resistant to external manipulation. We evolved with complex neurology. Fear does not control us. We feel fear, yes. But we fight anyway. The battle continued. Hour after hour, the Ravagers kept coming. The humans kept fighting. Ships were damaged and repaired. Soldiers were wounded and treated. Positions were overrun and retaken. The humans never stopped. Captain Hana Choi led a boarding team onto a Ravager capital ship. 20 human soldiers against thousands of Ravager drones. The fighting was brutal. Hand-to-hand combat in narrow corridors. The humans used knives, guns, explosives, and their bare hands. They fought their way to the ship's core and planted charges. They escaped with 3 minutes to spare. The capital ship exploded, taking 50 smaller vessels with it. Hana returned to the station covered in blood and burns. She refused medical treatment. Treat the wounded first. I can still fight. Lieutenant Jiwoo Han flew mission after mission, 72 hours without sleep. His fighter was damaged multiple times. He made emergency repairs between battles. His reaction times never slowed. His aim never faltered. On his 100th sortie, his fighter was critically damaged. He could have ejected. Instead, he aimed his dying ship at a Ravager command node and crashed into it at full speed. The explosion destroyed the node and disrupted Ravager communications for an entire sector. Jiwoo ejected at the last second. He was picked up by a rescue team. When they brought him back, he simply asked, "When is my next flight?" The council observers watched in disbelief. The humans had been fighting for 3 days straight. 3 days without rest. 3 days of constant combat, and they showed no signs of breaking. Sarth, the reptilian observer, sent a message. This should not be possible. No species can maintain combat operations for this long. Their performance should be degrading. But it is not. How? On day 4, the Ravagers launched a massive assault. They sent every remaining ship at once. 20,000 vessels against the human defense. The humans were outnumbered 20-1. Commander Taewon stood on the bridge. He had not slept in 4 days. His uniform was stained. His face was tired, but his eyes were clear and his voice was strong. He opened a channel to all human forces. Every ship, every station, Every soldier, listen to me, he said. We are tired. We are wounded. We are outnumbered, but we are not beaten. Humanity did not climb out of Earth's oceans to surrender now. We did not cross the stars to run from a fight. We survived ice ages. We survived plagues. We survived extinction events. We outlasted everything Earth threw at us, and we will outlast this, he paused. Then he said 3 words that would echo through history. We hold the line. 50,000 human voices answered. We hold the line, the Ravagers charged. The humans met them with fire and fury. The battle raged for 18 straight hours. The orbital station was breached. Ravager drones poured inside. Human Marines fought them in the corridors. When ammunition ran out, they used knives. When knives broke, they used metal bars. When they had no weapons, they used their fists. The alien observers watched the security footage. They saw humans fighting with broken bones, with burns covering half their bodies, with wounds that should have killed them. But the humans kept fighting. One human soldier was surrounded by 12 Ravager drones. She had no weapon, no armor. She was bleeding from multiple wounds. The observers expected her to die. Instead, she grabbed a broken pipe and charged. She killed 6 drones before reinforcements arrived. When medical teams reached her, she refused evacuation. My post is not secured. I stay. The Ravagers had never encountered anything like this. Species were supposed to break, supposed to surrender, supposed to die quietly. Humans did not break. They bent, they bled, they fell, but they got back up. They kept fighting. They never stopped. By day 5, the Ravager fleet was shattered. They had lost 80% of their forces. The Hive Mother, ancient and powerful, felt something it had not felt in 1,000 years. Fear. The remaining Ravagers began to retreat. They fled back toward the void expanse. The human forces pursued them, destroying every ship they could reach. On day 6, the Council reinforcements arrived. A massive fleet led by High Chancellor Vexthal and General Krathix emerged from hyperspace. They expected to find ruins. They expected to find death. They expected to find nothing. Instead, they found human ships still patrolling, human stations still operational, and the last Ravager vessels burning in the void. The impossible had happened. The humans had won. Part 4, the Council fleet floated in space, silent and still. High Chancellor Vexthal stared at the view screen. His crystal body flickered with confused light. This was impossible. The humans should be dead. Theta 7 should be destroyed. The Ravagers should be victorious, but the sensors showed the truth. Human ships patrolled the sector. The orbital station was damaged but operational. And scattered across space were the burning remains of the Ravager fleet. Commander Taewan's voice came over the communication channel. It was calm and professional. Council fleet, this is Commander Kim. Sector Theta 7 is secure. Enemy force neutralized. We request medical supplies and technical support for repairs. General Krathix made a choking sound. His forearms trembled. How? How is this possible? Vexthal ordered immediate investigation. Send teams to every human position. I want detailed reports. I want to understand what happened here. The Council teams boarded human vessels and stations. What they found shocked them. Human soldiers stood at their posts, exhausted but alert. Many were wounded. Bandages covered burns and cuts. Arms hung in slings. Legs were braced. But they refused to leave their positions until properly relieved. Equipment was damaged but functional. The humans had made field repairs using anything available. Metal plates were welded over hull breaches. Damaged systems were bypassed with creative rewiring. Weapons that should have been useless were modified to work again. The medical bay was full. Doctors and nurses worked without stopping. They had been treating wounded for 6 days straight. When Council medical teams offered to take over, the human medical staff refused. We finish what we start. You can help, but we do not abandon our patients. General Krathix walked through the orbital station. Scorch marks covered the walls. Blood stained the floors. Signs of desperate fighting were everywhere. He found Captain Hana Choi organizing repairs. She was covered in dried blood. Burns marked her arms. A medical bandage wrapped her ribs. She should have been in the hospital. Instead, she was working. Why? Krathix asked. Why do you keep working? You need rest. You need treatment. Hana looked at him with tired eyes. My people need me. The station needs repairs. My personal comfort does not matter. The mission matters. Krathix stared at her. I do not understand. My species is twice your size. Our natural armor is stronger than your bones. Our strength is 10 times yours. Yet you fought longer and harder than should be possible. How? Hana smiled slightly. You fight until you cannot fight anymore. We fight until the job is done. There is a difference. High Chancellor Vexthal met with Commander Taiwan in the Human Command Center. Taiwan looked exhausted. Dark circles marked his eyes. His uniform was stained and torn. But he stood straight and spoke clearly. Explain this to me, Vexthal demanded. You were outnumbered 50-1. You faced an enemy that has destroyed entire civilizations. You should have died. All of you. Yet you won. How? Taiwan gestured to the window. Outside, human ships moved in careful patterns. Damaged but still flying. You see our size and think we are weak. You see our soft bodies and think we are fragile. But you do not understand what made us strong. He continued. Humans evolved on a dangerous world. We were not the strongest animals. Not the fastest. Not the biggest. But we survived. We survived because we never gave up. When stronger animals chased us, we ran for hours until they collapsed from exhaustion. When we were hurt, we kept moving. When we were tired, we kept hunting. We became the top predator not through strength, but through endurance. Dr. Minho Park joined the meeting. He brought data files. High Chancellor, I have prepared a report on human biology. I think you should see it. Minho displayed medical scans comparing humans to other council species. Look at our cardiovascular system. Human hearts are incredibly efficient. We can maintain high activity levels for hours. Our muscles resist fatigue better than most species. Our pain tolerance is exceptional. Our healing is rapid. He showed brain scans. Our neurological structure is highly resistant to external manipulation. That is why the Ravager's psychic attacks failed. Human minds are flexible and adaptable. We can function through conditions that would shut down other species. Minho's voice grew stronger. You mock our size. But pound for pound, humans are among the most durable combat organisms in known space. We do not need to be the biggest or the strongest. We just need to outlast you. And we always do. Council scientists studied the data. One of them, a brilliant researcher named Talvex, spoke up. This explains the endurance, but not the coordination. Your forces work together with remarkable efficiency. How? Ambassador Unili answered. Humans are social creatures. We evolved in groups. We depend on each other. When one of us falls, others pick them up. When one of us is weak, others are strong. We do not fight as individuals. We fight as one. Lieutenant Jiwoo Han limped into the room. His leg was in a brace. Burns covered his neck. He should not have been walking. But he came to make his report. Fighter squadron status, he said formally. 42% casualties. All remaining pilots ready for duty. Requesting replacement aircraft and authorization for next patrol. The council officers stared at him in disbelief. This human had flown combat missions for 6 days straight. He had crashed his ship and nearly died. And now he wanted to fly again. General Krathix approached Jiwoo. You should be dead. Or at least unconscious. How are you standing? Jiwoo looked confused by the question. My people need me. The sector needs defense. I can still fly. Why would I not fly? Counselor Thena arrived at the station. She had watched the entire battle from the council chambers. She had argued with others, trying to make them understand. Now she walked through the human position, seeing the truth with her own eyes. She found Taiwan on the observation deck. He was watching his ship's patrol. I knew, she said quietly. From the beginning, I knew you were special. Taiwan nodded. But you could not convince the others. No, Thena admitted. They had to see for themselves. And now they have. She looked at the commander. You have changed everything, Commander Kim. The council will never see humanity the same way again. Taiwan was quiet for a moment. Then he said, We did not do this to impress anyone. We did this because it was our duty. You gave us a sector to defend. We defended it. That is all. The council fleet remained in Theta 7 for 3 days. The alien officers documented everything. They interviewed human soldiers. They studied human tactics. They analyzed human equipment. Every report said the same thing. The humans should not have won. By every calculation, every simulation, every analysis, the humans should have been destroyed. But calculations did not account for human will. Simulations did not include human determination. Analysis could not measure human refusal to surrender. High Chancellor Vexthal prepared his final report. He looked at Commander Taiwan one last time. We underestimated you. Taewon replied simply. Yes, you did. Vextal's crystal body glowed with something like respect. We will not make that mistake again. As the council fleet prepared to leave, General Krathik spoke with Captain Hana Choi one final time. I called your people weak. I was wrong. You are the strongest warriors I have ever seen. Hana accepted the apology with a nod. Strength comes in many forms, General. You are learning this now. The word spread across the galaxy. The tiny human army that was mocked had defeated the Ravagers. The small species that was laughed at had achieved the impossible. The Council had invited humanity as a formality. As a minor member, as a species to be tolerated. Now they understood the truth. They had not invited humans to join the Council. They had invited predators. They had invited survivors. They had invited warriors who measured strength not in size or power but in absolute unbreakable will. Part 5. 3 months after the Battle of Theta 7, the Galactic Council chambers were different. The atmosphere had changed. The way aliens looked at humans had changed. Everything had changed. Commander Taewon Kim walked through the corridors. Aliens stepped aside to let him pass. Some nodded with respect. Some stared with curiosity. None laughed. The mockery was gone, replaced by something humans had earned. High Chancellor Vexthal called a special session. Every council member attended. The chamber was packed. Everyone wanted to see what would happen next. Vexthal stood before the assembly. His crystal body shone with bright light. We gathered today to acknowledge a truth. We were wrong about humanity. We judged them by appearance rather than capability. We dismissed them as weak when they are strong. We mocked them when we should have listened. He paused. The chamber was silent. The Battle of Theta 7 proved something we should have known. Size does not determine strength. Power does not determine victory. Will determines everything. And humans have a will unlike any species we have encountered. General Krathik stood up. The proud warrior who had mocked humans now spoke differently. I proposed we treat humans as junior members. I was a fool. Today I propose something new. Humanity should become the primary defensive force of this council. Murmurs filled the chamber. Some aliens agreed immediately. Others hesitated. Change was difficult, even necessary change. Councillor Thena spoke. I support this proposal. Humans have proven they can defend what others cannot. They have shown dedication we lack. They have demonstrated endurance we cannot match. Let them lead our defense. Let them teach us their ways. The vote was called. 45 of 47 council members voted yes. Only 2 abstained. None voted. Numbered. Vexthal turned to Taewon. Commander Kim, the Council offers you the position of Grand Marshal of Council Defense Forces. You will command all military operations. You will have authority over all defensive fleets. Do you accept? Taewon stood. He looked at his team. Captain Hana Choi nodded. Dr. Minho Park smiled. Lieutenant Ji Woo Han gave a thumbs up. Ambassador Yuna Lee simply said, We are ready. Taewon turned back to the Council. I accept on several conditions. First, human forces will train Council military personnel in our methods. Second, Council species will respect human doctrine without interference. Third, humanity will maintain autonomous command while integrating with Council forces. Fourth, Earth and all human colonies will receive full Council membership with equal voting rights. Vexthal did not hesitate. All conditions are accepted. Welcome, Grand Marshal Kim. Welcome to full Council membership, humanity. The chamber erupted in sound. Some aliens cheered. Some made their species equivalent of applause. The noise was deafening and genuine. The news spread across the galaxy at light speed. Humanity, the species that was mocked 3 months ago, now led the Galactic Council's defense. The tiny army was now the most respected military force in known space. Captain Hana Choi opened a training academy on a neutral world. Soldiers from dozens of species arrived to learn human tactics. The first class had 500 students. Within a month, there were 5,000 applicants. The alien soldiers struggled. The human training was brutal. Long runs, endless drills, constant pressure. Many wanted to quit, but they watched human instructors do everything they asked students to do. If humans could endure it, so could they. Hana walked among the training grounds. She saw a Prismari soldier collapsed after a 10-kilometer run. The crystalline being was gasping, unable to continue. Hana knelt beside him. You want to quit? The soldier nodded. I cannot do this. Prismari are not built for endurance. Hana helped him stand. No species is built for this. But every species can learn. Pain is temporary. Pride is permanent. You can do this. I believe in you. The Prismari soldier finished the run. It took him 2 hours. But he finished. When he crossed the finish line, Hana was there waiting. Well done, soldier. Tomorrow we do it again. Lieutenant Jiwoo Han ran a fighter pilot academy. He taught aliens the human approach to combat flying. Flexibility, creativity, reflexes, trust in instinct. One student, a young Vorn named Klaxus, struggled with creative thinking. His species followed rigid patterns. Improvisation was difficult. Jiwoo took him on a training flight. Forget your training manual. React to what happens. Trust your body. Trust your mind. Do not think. Do. Jiwoo put Klaxus through impossible scenarios. Asteroid fields. Enemy ambushes. System failures. Each time Klaxus had to react instantly. No time to think. No time to follow procedures. After 3 hours, Klaxus landed his fighter. He was shaking. I did things that should not be possible. I flew by instinct, Jiwoo smiled. Now you understand. Humans do not follow rules in combat. We adapt, we improvise. We survive. And now you can too. Dr. Minho Park established a research center. Humans and aliens worked together, studying what made each species strong. They shared knowledge. They learned from each other. Minho discovered that some species had advantages humans lacked. Better eyesight, stronger natural armor, longer lifespans. But humans had advantages no one else possessed. Endurance, adaptability, psychological resilience. He published papers. He gave lectures. He taught aliens what it meant to be human. And humans learned what it meant to be part of something bigger than one species. Ambassador Yuna Lee worked in the council chambers. She helped humans integrate into galactic politics. She built alliances. She solved disputes. She made sure human voices were heard. One day, a minor species came to her. They were being threatened by pirates. The council had ignored their requests for help. Can you help us? They asked. Yuna smiled. Yes. Humans do not abandon those who need help. We will send ships. A human patrol fleet arrived at the threatened world. The pirates fled immediately. They had heard stories about humans. They knew better than to fight. In Theta 7, a monument was built. It honored the 8,000 humans who died defending the sector. Representatives from every council species attended the dedication ceremony. High Chancellor Vexthal gave a speech. These humans gave their lives defending a sector we called worthless. They fought an enemy we thought unbeatable. They stood when we expected them to run. Their sacrifice changed the galaxy. We will never forget them. 5 years passed. Grand Marshal Taewon Kim stood on the bridge of a new ship. The UNSS Perseverance was the flagship of the Council Defense Fleet. It was 10 times larger than the Indomitable. It carried crew from 20 different species, but the command crew was still the same. Captain Hana Choi, Dr. Minho Park, Lieutenant Jiwoo Han, Ambassador Yuna Lee. They had been through war together. They would face whatever came next together. A new threat appeared on the edge of Council space. Another invasion. Another enemy. The fleet mobilized. General Krathix was now Taewon's second in command. The proud warrior had learned humility. He approached the Grand Marshal. Fleet reports ready. All stations operational. Your orders? Taewon looked out at the enemy fleet. They were outnumbered 3-1. He smiled slightly. By now he knew the truth. Numbers did not matter. Strength did not matter. Only will mattered, he spoke clearly. His voice carried to every ship in the fleet. Humans and aliens alike heard his words. Standard human doctrine. We hold the line. Across the fleet, spanning hundreds of vessels and dozens of species, thousands of voices answered as one. We hold the line. The battle cry echoed through space. Humans had taught the galaxy a new way to fight. Not with overwhelming strength. Not with superior technology. But with absolute refusal to surrender. The aliens had mocked the tiny human army. They laughed at human size. They dismissed human strength. They expected humans to fail, but they learned. They learned that human strength was not in muscles or weapons. It was in the heart. In the mind. In the soul that refused to break no matter what. Humanity had been persistence predators on Earth. They chased prey until it collapsed. They survived disasters that killed other species. They endured ice ages and plagues and wars. Now they brought that same persistence to the stars, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Perseverance led the fleet into battle. Human tactics, human determination, human will. But now aliens fought beside them, learning, growing, becoming stronger. Taewon watched his fleet move into position. He thought about that day 3 months ago when they arrived at the council chambers. Small, mocked, dismissed. He smiled. They had proven what they always knew. Size does not matter. Strength is not about power. True strength is about refusing to quit. About standing up when knocked down. About fighting when everyone says you cannot win. That was human strength. And now the galaxy understood. They mocked the tiny army, but they did not expect it was human strength. And human strength was enough to change the universe.